What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we got one of my favorite champions that you can pull from an ancient or a sacred shard. It is Harima. She is a Force Affinity Shadowkin defensive legendary, and she has a very applicable kit in this game for both offensive and defensive use, no matter if it's the arena or some other PvE areas of the game, such as Hydra. Now, we'll go over her reviews really fast. 4.9 offense, arena, 4.9 arena defense, 4.9 faction wars, most definitely very good there. Hydra, when she's not weak affinity, is very good for the provoke debuff. She's just very good all over. She has a lot of capabilities she's capable of adding to your team. So when it comes to her kit, we'll go over that in 1 second. We'll start with her outfit, I suppose. There's a lot going on here when it comes to the champion lore regarding her and this outfit. She's been accumulating a lot of these items through just pure savagery across the demon spawn lands and her own lands as well. She's been closing portals, killing demons, the whole nine, accumulating items of power. Go ahead and start with the Tao. The Tao she got in a mine that she was working in, which led to a portal to Anathrad, where this guy right here, Ziomani, was an overseer that had like a fight club, basically. And at some point, she snuck the Tao in, chopped off this demon's head, and then tied it to her belt, which is super dope. Now, the headpiece, I think it's called the Helm of the Dawn. She accumulated that as well as the cloak of the Jade Feathers here, and she's just looking super badass. Now, for the kit, the A1, she has Debasement, attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. Also has a 25% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff on all other enemies for 2 turns if this attack is critical, and that goes up by 25% if you book her up. Her A2 is Purgative Punishment. It's a very nasty ability in a good way. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit decreases the target's defense by 5%, stacks up to 30%. Each hit also increases its champion's defense by 5%, stacks up to 100%. Instantly activates the Celestial Awe skill if this skill kills an enemy. It's defensive based, and the Celestial Awe is the A3. Celestial Awe attacks all enemies, places a provoke debuff for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be blocked or resisted if the target champion is from the demon spawn faction. Now it's 4 turns when not booked up and 3 turns when booked up. Her passive skill is where she gets very special in this game. So not only is her A2 pretty cool, definitely use that in the game to either punish champions. I mean, it's literally got a great name, Purgative Punishment here. You can punish other Harimas in the arena. Marius, for example, decrease their defense, as well as doing a significant amount of damage, as well as maybe possibly triggering the A3, which is even more significant amount of damage. And then this passive is where it really gets kind of special. Demon Slayer. Enemy ignored defense effects are decreased by 50%. So someone like, say, Georgia the Breaker, for example, you got a lot of champions that ignore a lot of defense, and she is basically just cucking them guys big time. Doesn't matter if it's Marius. She's a great Marius counter in the arena. She can be useful in a lot of areas. When it comes to, say, like Amius the Lunar Archon, she's almost like unkillable. It's really nasty. Now, champions from the Demon Spawn faction cannot inflict critical hits on this champion. Very, very crucial. Champion cannot land weak hits on champions from the Demon Spawn faction either. So when it comes to the Demon Spawn faction, you got a lot of champions that are very punishing in the arena. You got like Volcanos, you have Carnage the Anarch, Commodus, Duchess, Cheshire Cat. I mean, we can go on and on and on all day. Harima counters all of them guys. She's a real hard counter to Demon Spawns, and it's just really nice to see. I like champions like this in the game. They are a most definite asset to your account, especially when it comes to places like faction wars or other areas of the game where you would most likely need some sort of benefit or boon to your champions to get them over that, hill, so to speak, like Faction War Hard 21, for example, something like that. Now, her aura increases aura ally resistance in arena battles by 80. It's a crucial one. It's one that's shared by a lot of other champions. You got like Galathier, for example. Stiffy has that. I think Necrit as well. And now 80 is pretty high. It's a pretty good number. All right, let's go check her out in the arena. We'll probably try her out in live arena. Maybe check her out or talk about her at least in the Hydra and her city, Amius Lunar Archon, as well as electricity stages as well, because she can be very useful and beneficial for getting low turn count scores on some of those early stages, most definitely. The two great things about Harima right off the bat are her passive enemy ignore defense, where she cuts it in half, that ability, skill, and then no critical hits from the Demon Spawn faction. Not going to get nothing from Heffrak here during this fight. Now we do have a little bit of damage coming from Calvalax, and hopefully, maybe, this is why we put Sheep on her, we can get the Sheep to go off. Calvalax will Sheep himself, maybe even Armand's over here. We'll see how it works out. All depends on who goes first, obviously. All right, so this is why we brought Mariska. The poisons will go off and keep our Sivy alive while she can do her A2, because she doesn't come with any of that to begin with. Let's go ahead and use the A3 on Armand's there. Now Armand's is a pretty good candidate for the Wanda submission, so a lot of times that'll come right back at you, but no worries on that one. Let's go ahead and do the... let's go ahead and just do the A2 for now. We'll get the bigger shield and the strengthen buff. Now we'll go ahead and hit Arbiter with the A2. Hopefully it goes off like it did there with the A3. We had to get the kill to get the A3 to go off. Very beneficial. Now Heffrak will not be able to do no damage to any Harima here. And most likely, like it said right there, not to anybody else as well. That passive skill is just really beneficial. Alright, A3, fight over. So most of the damage coming from Harima, but as you can see, just no damage output whatsoever from this team here. Mariska, clutch for that. Sify, clutch. Harima, obviously, is kind of like a Stonewall tank there. So normally, under most circumstances, Harima is very good against Georgid, just by default. But just in case we brought Goffred Brassclad in for this fight, you never know how things go. It could be like a super awesome Georgid there. But normally, Harima is enough to make Georgid kind of nullified. All right, let's see this Georgid in action here and see what he can do. They didn't get their debuffs like they wanted, though. All right, we'll go the stun. Okay, so we didn't need his passive there at all. Quite impressive. Go ahead and hit Lydia here. Put the defense back on. Very nice. Yeah, see how that works? Very, very nice. Go ahead and go after the monkey here. A3 for the win. There we go. That was pretty much all Harima's passive there. Goffred's poor soul here really was taking the brunt of the damage, but yeah, his passive never went off, as far as I noticed anyways. And George's attack here, look at that, 60,000 damage. Pretty much kept him in line. Harima's most definitely a champion to get on your roster if you don't got her already. She's amazing. All right, this time we got some more meta champions this time with mythicals like Naze and Star Sage. We got Queen of Hearts there too. So our Arbiter's going first, thankfully. We got Sify here going second. Speed turn meter boost again. Okay, we got the ally attack coming from the Queen of Hearts. A little out of order for him. All right. A2, sleep. We're getting hit. Ooh. Got block revived. Okay. Good turn meter boost. Let's use A2. Try to strip some buffs. We should be able to plow right through Naze's second form with the A2 here. Go ahead and try it out. Then get the A3 to go off as well. Very nice. All right, Galathea revived. Let's go ahead and turn meter boost. A1, A3 to wipe out a couple of them, if not all of them. Nice. All right, okay, we got Eternal Beyonder to go through here. Turn meter boost again, and then we should be able to A2 with Harima right through it, if not just A1. Yep, A2. Okay, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. He's out of here. All right, so Harima with some more disgusting damage, and this time against some more meta champions. Like I was saying, we got a Naze, we got a Galthier. You can see how we put their passives to shame. Doesn't even matter. I really can't think of a better endorsement in the world than the #1 player in the world banning Harima when there's a Marius in the fight. Because Marius is probably the #1 target I bring my Harimas against. And that fight went about as well as you think it did. All right, for this fight right here, we got the Marius, we got the Harima to counter him. See how this fight goes. Fight's always start a little slow. We got, okay, Armand's is going to sheep our Galthier. All right, Galthier's back. A1 with Mariska. Got an actual kill with Naze. Pretty weak Armand's there. All right, we got our sheep going off. Here we go. And there you go. We got Marius doing absolutely no damage. And this guy said, you know what? I'm donezo. I don't want to deal with it. I'm out of here. All right, for this fight right here, we got a Calvalax this time. They got some speed leads like Arbiter, so we'll see if we can take out Arbiter and our base there. There we go. Doing too much damage for him. All right, let's sheep this Empress because I fear him more than I fear the Frolny. Ooh, Frolny doing some mega damage there. Okay, but did not kill the Naze. Go ahead and strip some of those stats away. Go ahead and A2, decrease that defense. Go with the A3 on Empress. A2 with Naze. Didn't quite get him. We gave him a turn. See what he can do. See if he can do any kind of significant damage to Harima. I really like Harima, though, to mitigate the damage. Even with Naze there, she is a great mitigator for when it goes to second form. Ooh, look at that. Tanked the hit. He survived. Here we go. A2. All right, Empress. One Empress down. And we're just going to finish him off with Harima. So we got significant damage from Naze, Calvalax, but Harima still taking the cake there. Doing the most. Frolny hit pretty hard, most definitely. But they tanked Empress's hits. I like that a lot. So one thing about Harima, if you put the triangle relic gemstone on her that destroys HP, it's really good for those champions like Naze and Empress when you go against them. All right, I hope you guys don't mind, but I'm going to run Amius the Lunar Archon right here in 1.5 speed, just to speed it up a little bit and get to the end results and show you guys a little bit of the fight, but without having it take too long. So you guys notice already that Amius's HP bar is being destroyed massively, and that's from a gemstone relic. Now, and the A2 from Harima. The really great thing about Harima in this fight is the A1, you see right there, we got the decrease attack. It's going to make Amius basically just crippled the entire fight. As long as you keep doing an A1, keep the A1 decrease attack on, and have the passive skill active, like it's just a cakewalk. Absolutely a cakewalk. The second form here doesn't hit very hard at all. So it's more or less just kind of a DPS fight when it comes to having Harima on your team. I don't even bother with trying to go through the typical stage mechanics. Harima just trivializes the fight, most definitely. Just with their passive skill, really. And then the A2 is just really good as well for decreasing the defense, makes the fight go a little faster. Obviously, this is not a speed team. Like, we're not over here knocking it out in less than 10 turns or nothing like that. But you can see, it's going pretty fast. It's pretty easy. We're actually out damaging the second form there. We can't get him back to the first form without killing him. So, more or less, kind of just like a battle of attrition. You're just trying to win the fight. I mean, she more or less makes everybody super tanky. So just bring a lot of damage dealers, a lot of offensive-minded people, and just start stacking that damage. He's really good when it comes to basically everywhere. I mean, you can see this is a PvE fight. Good for Hydra. Good just about everywhere in the game. And I mean, you could definitely speed this fight up. I was not trying to do like a massive turn count, battle. And you can see we got Quintus here doing the same amount of damage as Harima. So he is most definitely a damage dealer in the purest sense of the form. and she is just super, super tanky. Like, I can't even put that into words for you. Like, she's not going to take damage. The whole rest of the team is going to be protected. It's just going to be a super smooth and easy fight. All right, so the one big issue about Harima when it comes to the Hydra fight is having the wrong affinity when it comes to provoke. So she can most definitely weak hit, and if she does weak hit, it's a problem. But as you can see, she's doing significant amounts of damage when it comes to just contributing to the fight overall, especially when it comes to having Mikage on the same team. She can most definitely include a lot more damage when she does the A1 in the first form. So when it comes to the Head of Torment here doing the fears, as long as you have the mastery for the counterattack going, everything's going to be looking real good there too. So if we can knock out the head of this decay here, then we'll be looking real good. Now, having a hard form right now, we're not doing it on the hardest difficulty. If you guys are watching this video, I mean, I'm assuming that you either don't care about Harima for Hydra, or you have no other better options, and she's just kind of like someone you have to use, right? Like, she's more or less there, and you just kind of have to take advantage of her. Because she's not the best option when it comes to Hydra fights and Hydra teams. You're going to be able to get some better teams with, like, Titus, for example, or Trunda, champions like that. So, I mean, Harima is most definitely just kind of like one of those champions that I build for PvP, and then when I can use her in PvE, I do. She's obviously very good when it comes to certain areas in the game. Hydra is not a place I really use her very often, to be quite honest. I'm going to fast forward to the end here, and you guys can see the score she puts up. All right, so we got the end results here. We got Harima doing the majority of the damage with 121 million. We got Newt almost half of that. Gallic doing a little bit of damage with HP burns. And we don't have a Hex person or nothing like that out there. Just had a couple ally attacks. So obviously Mikage is having Harima do a lot of damage with the ally attacks in the A1 as well. So, you know, she definitely can work in a pinch if you need a champion to provoke. There was a few times where we had some weak hits, but for the most part, she was able to land a provoke throughout the fight and make it pretty easy. Her passive was making it so we weren't taking a lot of damage, and we were able to survive throughout the entire fight for the whole 1,000 turns. So all in all, very easy run. Definitely not no meta team, nothing like that. We're not setting no records with Harima, but she definitely works in a pinch if you need her to. So go ahead and give her a try, even if it's a weak affinity. All right, we got stage 20 of Faction Wars Hard right here. We're going to be going after Lazarius first. I don't want him to switch forms. We got Harima doing the A3 provoke. Now, Yumeko's going to be very clutch here, resetting the skills. Really, all the champions are clutch. There's really not a bad one here. Without any of them, it might go bad. So Lady Kimmy's fast. We got Rio there to do some stuns. We got heals. So the A2 with Harima is pretty clutch, as well as the A3. We're going to get rid of Sulfurion here pretty quick. We want to make sure they're not going before they get a turn to use their active skills. So we're trying to get the 3-star in this one for sure. We'll go after Mezamel for the same reason as Lazarius. We don't want her to be able to switch forms and use her active skills in her second form. So we'll keep trying to provoke them with Harima's A3. Now we'll go after someone else besides Marius with the ally attack, because I don't want him to do A1s until we get enfeebled. So we'll put a stun on him so he can't do that. We'll continue hammering away at all the other ones while we use Harima's abilities. Now, because we reset after every round, at the beginning of the next round, we can use our abilities all the way up to the end of the round. No problem. But we do want to make sure that we don't, use them all before he resets Yumeko. Put a stun, ally attack. There we go. Finish it up. Now, Aragaz is extremely nasty in this wave here. I do not like what he does. He's just very, very nasty with the passive and making that A3 go off. So we get him stunned. We try to ally attack him and get him dead as soon as possible. The A3s from Harima are holding down. We're pretty much going to CC this entire wave. But the provokes are clutch. There we go again with another set. So Airgas down makes this wave so much easier. If you can't get him down, he's going to be trouble. Go ahead and switch forms. Do the stuns. Keep him CC'd some more. Decrease attack is very good from Harima as well in the A1. Alright, another provoke. Whittling him away a little slowly. For whatever reason, that faction unity champion Airgas for the orcs is very, very tanky. He makes the whole wave tanky. Alright, there we go. 3 stars. So we've got better times, but as you can see, Yumeko was very clutch with the reset of the skills. Lady Mikage provided a lot of damage with ally attack and a little bit of stuns and CC there. Harima doing the majority of the damage, so you definitely need at least 1 damage dealer there. And Harima is a great one for the job. Go ahead and check her out in Curse City really fast, then we'll go check out her gear and all that good stuff. Harima is also very capable of speed running some of the stages in Curse City. So you can run her with the A3 on the first stage. You can do the A2. I usually do it on like a weak affinity champion just in case you get a weak hit. And that pops the A3 again. And then with Cycle of Violence, you can get that to reset, get the A3 to come back around. And as long as you're lucky, you can get 3 turns just like that. If you need a little bit of help, you can have somebody with a defensive aura like Hotatsu there. Finally, just go check out her artifacts and masteries and stuff. Okay, so let's go over her artifacts, her blessings, masteries, and all that good stuff. I have her in a lethal, as well as 1 piece or 1 turn stone skin set, and a feral piece. Now, for the lethal, we get to 25%. Ignore defense. Love it. The stone skin, 1 turn is usually good for the arena. As far as the stats go, we have a lot of crit rating, a lot of crit damage, accuracy, speed. Total stats are going to be 53,000 HP, 2,600 attack, 7,000 defense, 235 speed, 99% crit rate, 335% crit damage, 322 resistance, and 471 accuracy. Now, I just rebuilt Harima and some new gear, and it's definitely not leveled up all the way. Needs some glyphs and stuff like that. We basically got her pretty slow at the moment. Used to be faster. She was over somewhere like 250, 260 speed, like 7,200 defense, accuracy, resistance about the same, and then she was around like 300% crit damage. So 300 is kind of low. I wanted to get the crit damage up. So we need to glyph the speed up and the defense and a lot of that stuff to get back up to the 7,200 we were at before. But it will be better once it's completely built up now that we got more crit damage. So let's go over the stats and the gear. We got a lot of, like I said before, crit damage, crit rating, accuracy, speed on the gear. You're going to be wanting to use some of your best gear on some of your best nukers in the game, some of your best damage dealers. This is some of my better gear, but not my best gear by far. Crit damage, as far as the main stat on the gauntlets, we have crit rating, just enough to get to the basically 100% crit rate. If this, had more crit rating on the substats, I would definitely get the crit damage on the Ascension stat here as well. And like I said, we need to get these glyphs going because she's not really well glyphed up at all. Now, for the Ascension stat, we definitely want defense percentage here. We're going to have to do, some ascending and getting some chaos dust to get the rework, get it to correct. But before it was definitely higher because of having the Ascension stat on there. Now, for the boots, defense percentage, again, with the Ascension stat, defense percentage, trying to get as much defense as possible. Speed, substat, crit damage, accuracy. We probably have more accuracy than what we really need. Like I said, when it comes to stone skin accessories, you kind of just got to work with what you got. If you do have enough to get the 1 turn, like I do, you're pretty blessed, even if you got, unideal main stats like this one. So I do have a better piece, I think, right here, but it's most definitely not built up yet. So we're going to have to ascend it, bless it up, all that good stuff, get everything on there. And then once we have everything on there, it should most definitely be an upgrade. So we'll get that one on there soon and start leveling up that one. But defense main stat is what you really want in the ring. Crit damage most definitely is the main stat on the neck piece with crit damage ascension. And then accuracy is what I have on the banner. I have the ascension to be accuracy as well. But maybe in the future, if I feel like this is, I mean, I really don't want to drop under 400 accuracy, to be quite honest. But if I ever needed more defense, I could definitely swap this out for some more. But I do like what I have here. We'll probably get it up to like about 500 accuracy, and then see if it's a little bit too much. See if we could drop a little bit for a little bit of speed and a little bit of crit damage. But it really depends on the rest of the gear. So the blessings, the relics. Go with the relic first. Okay, so for relics, I like the Cat's Gaze on her. If she's going to be a nuker, it's a very good relic for her because basically her HPs are going to be low since she's a defensive-based champion, and you really need that as a requirement to use the Cat's Gaze. Like, it's not going to be good on someone like White King Narcissus, for example, here. Go over some of the better options for relics for Harima in the game. If you have access to legendaries, Wand of Submission is one of my favorites in the game. I have not tried the aspect of Sarath on her, but it seems like it could be highly beneficial as well. Gilded Dragonstone, if you don't have any of the mythics or legendaries in the game, gives you a little bit of defense. And it also has a square gemstone slot there, which usually reduces defense in the game. And there's also a really nice one that could go against Marius. Stormcaller could be really good as well, especially when it comes to using the A2. Chrono Cube could probably be good for just about anybody. 2 turns is definitely better than 1. But if you're going first in the arena and you have Stone Skin, I don't know if that would be the greatest one for Harima to have. Or Crescent, if you're using her as a nuker, for sure, could be a very good one. Now, it has attack main stat, no big deal. It does have crit damage and speed on it. I do like having the extra damage. Scroll the Unseen gives you a little bit of extra damage as well with another attack main stat. It has some conditionals, but it's pretty good. Orbit Transfixion could be really good with her. She has the A2 that hits multiple times. You got the A1 there, able to assist with Lady Mikage. So you could be technically stealing a lot of buffs there. It'd be very good, especially if they had like Stone Skin or something to begin with. Arethi Coronet, another attack main stat, but it gets a little bit of accuracy. One gives you a little bit of damage as well. We got the Malefic Talon, if you're really hurting for some relics here. Does have a crit damage main stat, which is kind of nice. I don't know if I'd be using the Molten Death Bell, but is definitely an option as well. Got accuracy, defense. When it comes to my favorite one to use, the Cat's Gaze, as you can see, I was already using this one on her. Has crit damage as the main stat, and does get to defense eventually. Ignores a lot of defense. Really like that one a lot. We have Covetous Passion. This one could be pretty cool with her as well. Does give you another square gemstone there, as well as a triangle one. So you get the Shatter buff, which is a 15% ignore defense buff. Start to fight, and you get that as well if you kill any enemies. Crown of Corruption, most definitely a top tier relic for her. If you're trying to go a little bit extra tanky, maybe you're going against Marius's and you want to survive, Gilded Pinion could be an option as well. Gives you a little bit of speed and reduces damage. Now, Murder Fang, I mean, that could be decent as well. I mean, not the best. But Essence Quencher, I really like this one on any damage dealers. Death Dealer would be just ideal for for a lot of champions. I really like this one a lot. I wish I had one, but chances of getting that one are pretty hard. Royal Digit is another one that could kind of keep you alive a little bit, budget friendly. Not really sure what this one really does that much. Seems a little whatever. Eternal Soulgal. Now this one could be pretty good. Use this one against Marius. Like I use my Harima as a Marius counter, and this reduces some of the damage, which could be really good, especially after the subsequent hits. So the Collective is another one. It's a nuker, kind of friendly relic there, but the removal of the buffs really kills me on that one. I really don't like that a lot. But if you say you had like a 1-turn Stone Skin or something to start the fight, in PvP, I mean, it's not exactly terrible, but you can lose your increased defense. That's not that good. Hammer of Ending. This one, pretty interesting. So it gives you a stun, basically. I would definitely consider using this one if I didn't have any better options. Go over the gemstones for a second, because I think all of the triangle ones are very, very interesting, but there's one specific one I want to talk about, which is life drain. Now, if, say, you were going to use Harima against a champion like Naze or Empress or White King Narcissus or any of those HP-based nukers, this triangle gemstone is very interesting because you can stack up that 20% very, very fast, especially when you use Harima's A2. And then once you've basically drained the enemy of their max HP, besides Taras, it's going to cripple them. I've won plenty of fights with Harima, just outlasting them and punishing them, reducing their damage basically until they were like a wet noodle and they couldn't win the fight and just had to quit, which is a very interesting tactic. Those I would say are probably her top tier relics to be using and gemstones. When it comes to the blessing, you got a lot of options. Now, I do not have a lot of polymorph champions on my account, period. I know a lot of people hate polymorph. Some people love it. Some people are using polymorph in every single one of their champions in the arena. I do not use polymorph hardly ever on very few champions. And I strategically use it on the few champions I do use it on. So I do use Harima with the polymorph because I do bring her to fights where I'm like, yeah, someone like Armand's or Marius, like, yeah, I need you to try to debuff my Harima here and it gets sheeped, because it's just a very beneficial thing to have in the fight. Now, Life Harvest, for example, I want one of my champions with Life Harvest on almost all of my PvP arena teams. Is that what I'm going to be sticking to Harima? Not really. When it comes to the blessings, like Crushing Rin could definitely be one you could choose, since she's nuking. Brimstone even might even be a consideration if you're doing like a lot of PvE. But I wouldn't really be going with that one myself. Soul Reap could be good, but I really like polymorph on her, for me personally speaking. Polymorph is where it's at. I do not use it on other champions like White King Narcissus or other nukers in the arena like Empress or Naze. So having one nuker for me in the arena that's defensive based, kind of like polymorph is defensive in my opinion, more of a defensive thing than an offensive thing. Even though you could use it offensively, I'm like, this is what wins me fights a lot of times when I really need a helping hand, like to get rid of, say, a UDK or something like that. Give you examples. But polymorph, I love it on her. 6-star polymorph is probably saved me a lot of fights. Now, as far as the masteries go, there's always a lot of masteries you can use. You always got to use your discretion. Use the best ones for you. Like, for example, I don't have Methodical here. If you like Methodical, go ahead and grab that one. But as far as what works for me, I go with Deadly Precision for some more crit rate. We got Keen Strike for more crit damage. Life Drinker. We went with Cycle of Violence. Bring It Down. Kill Streak, because you're definitely going to get some kills in the arena with Harima. And say, for example, you use the A2, get a kill, triggers the A3. Yeah, it's going to be very nice. Helm Smasher. Arena, Helm Smasher, ignore defense. It just kind of goes hand in hand with all your nukers. Tough Skin here. You could go with something like Defiant. I like Improved Parry a lot when it comes to the arena, but Blast Proof will work too. We have Resurgent, Delay Death, and then Retribution and Deterrence. Because I want her attacking with that A1 as much as possible, especially when it comes to something like the Hydra, where you have the head that does the fear. So we're going to be getting a lot of extra attacks in the Hydra and stuff like that with Deterrence. All right, so that's it for today's video. We have Harima, one of the best PvP champions, one of the best PvE champions in the game you can get. That's a Force Affinity, Magic Affinity, or Spirit Affinity champion. She is amazing. If you get her on her account, your account, you lucked out. Congrats to you. She is definitely top tier, and she is just a blessing to have in your account. That's all I can really say about that. Like, she's just so good. So good luck in getting one if you do not have one. I don't know why you'd be watching this video if you didn't have one. But good luck on getting multiple copies. You can get that +4 Harima because she is a badass. She is most definitely a badass. And good luck using her in the arena. She's a lot of fun. And using her all around, in the game, other areas. So you guys take it easy. Have a great day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.